Hello and welcome to a new limited podcast series by Leaders Edge called Falling Into It. This is a podcast where young professionals share their stories and thoughts on the insurance industry as they continue to grow their careers. My name is Zach Ewell, and I am a content and marketing associate here at the Council of Insurance Agents and Brokers, and a contributing writer to Leaders Edge magazine. My guest today is Andy Mathisen, a 31-year-old CMO and co-founder of GloveBox, an insurtech. With a bachelor's degree in communication studies from University of Kansas, Andy has been working at his company for about 2 years now. I sat down with him to discuss what it's like growing up in an insurance-centric household, how he co-founded a company early in his career, and the changing insurtech landscape. Thank you for joining me, Andy.
You got it. Yeah, I'm pumped to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So my first question, as I understand, your father started the agency you would later work at, and you currently work with your brother at GloveBox. Growing up in a family full of insurance agents, how did that impact your outlook on life? Did you feel a pressure to join the same industry as your family?
That's funny you ask. I was actually interested in not participating in the insurance industry whatsoever. I was hopeful to try and do whatever I could to stay away from the insurance industry, specifically in the teens and the high school years, and in the college years. And I say that because when I was younger, I'm talking very young, 8, 9, somewhere in there, I was actually putting in my school books and reports that I did want to be an insurance agent because I looked at my dad, who was just recently starting an agency, and it looked like he was enjoying it, right? It was just always on the phones, always making deals, always that next thing and helping people out. And really, that's what it came down to. He would always tell me the best part about my job is to help people out. So when I was younger, it was all about insurance. And then as I got older into the teens and high school and college, it was like, you know what? It doesn't look as sexy. It's not as sexy as it may look from that perspective of that age. And then you grow up a little bit and you get into your early 20s and you kind of mature, of course, and you get into that understanding that this is an important industry, it's an important role. And by then I was ready. And when he came to me and approached me in 2011, early 2012, I was ready to jump in.
Fascinating. I took a look at your LinkedIn and I saw a little cute post that you made about, it was a picture of you in like elementary school, and it was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was, one was a police officer, another was the insurance agent.
And that's what I was alluding to right there. That concept of very young age, it looked fun, and that for some reason it aged itself a little bit, but circled back around. So it came full circle.
Interesting, like a boomerang effect.
I
Funny.
think if you ask a lot of people with insurance families, I would say that's probably the case.
As a young person, what do you find the most attractive aspect of working in the insurance space, and why?
Um, I think it's interesting to see how, and this word gets tossed around a lot, antiquated it is, and it gets tossed around so recent or so frequently because it's certainly true. You're not going to find many more industries that are so far behind with digital, with that ease of use, especially in the independent channel, where you're seeing the interface of a client to an independent agency to a carrier is very challenging from a user perspective, from a client perspective, I should say. It's not very easy to understand, and honestly, even just the process of going through a quote to bind to service is just a very strange concept for a client. And so, being involved, helping the industry out, especially with what we are doing in our company, is a blast. We enjoy doing this. We know it's going to evolve quickly. InsurTech is becoming more and more popular, and everything is kind of coming together over the past year or two. So it's been interesting to kind of keep the eye on the prize with that concept in mind.
Sure. And that segues me into my next question. What brought you to co-founding GloveBox?
I love that question. And it's really because when we owned and operated our own insurance agency alongside my brother and my dad, we were noticing a few things. We were growing quickly. We were growing at at least over $1 million a month in new business premium, and that was specific to personal lines. So we were a 95+% personal line shop, and that meant we were bringing on a lot of clients every single month. And we noticed our customer service team was overworked, truly taking on a ton of what we call tier one customer service requests every single day. And tier one service requests can be anything from, hey, can you send me my auto ID card? Can you send me my deck page? Can you send me information on how to make a claim or how to pay a bill? And we knew that these tasks were just could be delegated to technology. And so we did not have a great digital platform for clients to self-service, do what they need to do on their own time, in their own space. And so we knew we had to branch off, sell the agency, and start something that would help the industry. And that's where GloveBox comes in. Really, just a quick spill on what that is. It's a self-service platform specific to the independent channel that is connected to all carriers. So you have a technology that has carrier features and insurance agency features inside of one ecosphere.
So, what are some areas that you believe the insurance industry is lacking when it comes to serving a younger generation and needs of the future consumer?
Yeah, I think insurance can be confusing for most. John Smith, or I should say Joe Schmo, to put it that way, is typically not interested in worrying too much about his insurance, of course, until he needs to use it. He or she needs to actually go use it. And that being said, making insurance sexy. And I kind of talked about that on the front end. But you're seeing companies like Lemonade, companies like Hippo, just to name a couple, that are making it more appealing and to making the younger generations become more interested in making it a priority. And so that's certainly something that needs to be focused on, is that marketing aspect, and that's where I come into play with my role at GloveBox. But ensuring that it's on a digital platform that allows them to get to it easily and use it within a short amount of time. That time span, it matters quite a bit if they're going to be using it as a kind of that front end interface.
Sure.
So that's kind of the analysis I have in mind.
So you've been discussing personal lines or insurtechs in the sense of personal lines. What I'm interested is in, you told me that Glovebox would be moving from serving personal lines into a commercial space. What lines are you going to be working with? Are you going to be working with small, medium, and large businesses? I mean, you just made the comparison of Joe Schmo, but obviously Joe Schmo is different than an actual large company.
Well, let's put it this way. When we, again, were managing and operating our agency, being that we were way more than a majority of personal lines, we knew that that was the easy, low-hanging fruit to find a solution on. So GloveBox, the ability to manage your insurance regardless of the carrier that you have policies with, specific to the product. So right now, you can manage your home and your auto, and your umbrella and your toys, RVs, boats, those types of things. So you can manage all those inside of your GloveBox app for your independent agency. But we are going to be adding life, health, and commercial to manage any product in those spaces here in the next 30 to 60 days, really pushing hard to get that out quick. So when you're going to see that available, it's going to allow for an interface that is going to say, hey, if you have these other products, life, health, commercial, click here to manage those products. And when you click, you're either going to be getting a quote from your agency on those products, the independent agency that you have policies with, or you're going to be able to select your carrier and go ahead and manage it right there. So it's going to give you some options. It's really going to round out the obviously the PNC, but life and health aspect of managing insurance policies. So specific to what commercial is going to look like, you know, as a user, you're going to be able to request certifications, being able to get your documents quickly and easily, pay a bill, start a claim. So that varies as far as small, medium, or large businesses, but really just the certificates are going to be big, and being able to request those right there in the application, and of course getting access to your documents and all those other features as well.
So, how do you apply your insurance background to the tech space?
Well, tech is hard. There's a lot of it, and they have a hard time communicating with each other or working well together. And so we're trying to bring it all in one ecosphere and have it work great. No, I'm not talking specifically about our product being hard. It's more about technology as a whole. We run into software things like third-party software issues, or even just Zoom meetings or whatever it may be. Tech is hard. And so having a little bit, I shouldn't say a little bit, much more experience and knowledge on insurance versus technology, that's been an interesting aspect of the shift from owning an agency and being a partner or operating an agency versus coming into a company that is an insure tech company and dealing with tech every day. So I guess that's been an interesting shift, if you will.
What do you see for the digitization of the industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
Tough to say. Carriers specifically are becoming more aware of the need to provide a better digital experience. Kind of starts with the carriers. You name the carrier, they're probably in the process of building a better experience for their clients. So we are trying to push them along. I know the agencies are, and getting those things like APIs set up. APIs allow for better integrations and better transfer of data and such from their systems over to the third parties. And so I would say the digitization is probably becoming um, I think it's coming into a funnel of just like the focus, right? The focus of that being front and center for these carriers to implement ASAP. They're already behind the times. They are just putting a lot of money and effort toward that now, and so I think it's going to speed up when you see what's been going on with certain carriers with their involvement in insurtech and involvement in their own proprietary systems and acquisitions and so that's happening a lot faster. And so it's in the next few years, I think you're going to see a lot of um, more help and solutions for independent agents specifically that can utilize these, all these platforms that are coming forward, specific from carriers.
So essentially, just business is happening faster and quicker than ever before.
Yeah, and that's kind of the obvious response, but it really is money and support is getting pushed there. And COVID obviously helped that because client experience means everything, whether it's sales, service, what claims, whatever it may be. And so that's where companies are headed, and it's happening very quickly right now.
You are still pretty young into your professional career. Are there any spaces in insurance that you could see yourself working in the future?
Outside of GloveBox, which is obviously my baby, co-founder, CMO, hope to be doing this for as long as possible.
Let's say your baby grows up. Is there anything else? And maybe you have another baby.
I have no, not in business. I have two young girls, but two young daughters. But no, in the insurance world, I always am a marketing guy through and through. Marketing heavy, everything. It's been my career since the agency days. So you can probably envision some sort of a role, chief marketing officer, or like similar role, and maybe another type of a company. And insurtech is very interesting. So it's probably where you could see that future looking.
How can the insurance industry attract more young people to work in it right after college?
Boy, I love that question. It's gosh, I have a tough time answering that. And I say that because a lot of times these insurance companies, and specifically I'm talking independent agencies, are typically family owned and operated. So typically the kids are stepping in, which was my scenario. And you're seeing that over and over again. So second and third generation agency owners. That's probably where you're going to see a lot of the evolution of younger individuals running agencies, being in the industry, starting their career as an agent, a service rep. And so I think that's what's kind of going to move it forward. And bring that age demographic down. But ultimately too is we keep talking about the digital piece, but if you're going to make it um, a good looking interface, whether it's web, app, whatever that might be, it's going to appeal to that younger crowd. And I think I'm seeing it right now. People are becoming more curious on what that career could look like for them. I will just make a side comment.
Yeah.
We are always looking at websites of agencies out there. And I got to say, most of them, and I'm being generous when I say that, are really bad. They're bad websites. They don't do anything. They look poor. They don't have any appeal. And so that's going to be one thing right there, right off the bat. What do I do when I'm interested in working at a company? I go to their website. And if that's poor, what am I doing going to that company? So I would say you're going to see, if you have a good website, you're going to attract more people. That's a good start. And then if you happen to have a mobile app, I promise you're going to get more appeal.
Well, thank you for this fun and engaging conversation.
Absolutely. It's been fun chatting with you. And it's interesting to hear some of the questions you posed, because some of them I've never been able to answer as far as on a platform like this. So I'm glad you kind of took the time to ask that.
Thank you for listening to Falling Into It. Please listen to more of our podcasts and content at leadersedge.com or on our SoundCloud account. Till next time, I'm Zach Ewell. Have a good one.